handle the truth.
I'm surviving on the top of the line!
Fentanyl is killing more than 70,000 Americans a year. Big, you got it.
It isn't often I begin one of these commentaries or rants that I'm actually at a loss for words. I watched the State of the Union last night, not expecting much, expecting him, to lie, to distort. What I was not expecting, and I was actually very proud of, was the pushback by members from the Republican side. Now, of course, the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media is just having a meltdown, as are some Democrats, at the disrespect shown for Joe Biden. In fact, the commentary that I posted yesterday, which was a parody of the State of the Union, with Rich Little doing his impersonation of Joe Biden, apparently my commentary setting up that video, as well as my follow-up commentary, one viewer took issue with that I am, quote, very disrespectful. And you know what? I am. And you know what else? I don't care. We're talking about a man that has the dual capability of, on one hand, being so disoriented, dementia-driven, demented, that he's actually dangerous. He is, without a doubt, one of the most corrupt individuals to have ever occupied the Oval Office. He has sold out our sovereignty. He has sold out our security. That's exactly why it took him 8 days to get around to doing anything about the Chinese overtly spying on the United States, almost basically going, na 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 na, you can't catch me. I mean, it was a balloon, for crying out loud. Took us 8 days to bring it down. Why? Because Beijing Biden has been bought and paid for. He took 30 seconds in his State of the Union to say that no other leader in the world, you know, this incoherent screaming that he does apparently, no other leader in the world wants to trade places with China. Yeah, they do. They're the second biggest economy in the world. And they are soon to surpass the United States, thanks to Joe Biden, thanks to his policies. He has put China and Russia and India and now Africa in a four-way alliance. They have gotten the Saudis to destroy and end the petrodollar. No longer do foreign countries have to buy oil with American currency. They can now use their own. China is poised to overtake the United States economically. They've already done it educationally. And Joe Biden saying, my wife says any country that out-educates us will out-produce us, out-create us, outdo us. Funny though, all he could do was throw a bone by saying, we want to spend more money on public school teachers, i.e., we want to pay the teachers' unions to keep doing what they're doing, indoctrinating, not educating. If he was really serious about giving kids real education, he would allow parents to have real choice, which means giving them federal money to be able to find the school of their choice. But I digress. Because last night was not about real solutions. It was about Joe Biden wanting to get out a checkbook and just start giving the social dream speech that, of course, the media and Democrats fawned over and drooled over. But in the end, the Republicans held their ground, and Sarah Huckabee Sanders probably gave the greatest response to any State of the Union I have ever heard. And it was crystal clear. Joe Biden is more than double her age, but she's twice as smart as he is. She has accomplished more in her first 3 weeks as governor of Arkansas than Joe Biden has done in 2 years as president. The only thing that he accomplished is he kept his son out of prison. Everything else, Donald Trump handed him an economy that was roaring back. We were in the middle of we were starting a V-shaped recovery following the lockdown. The economic downturn that we had was created and manufactured by the Democrats using Dr. Fauci and that simpleton Mike Pence to convince Donald Trump we had to shut down 2 weeks to slow the spread. 2 weeks to slow the spread. No, it was 2 weeks that killed his presidency because it tanked the economy. And the Democrats had been threatening since the summer before the pandemic. They had to figure out a way to create a recession. That was the only way they were going to defeat Donald Trump. And Mike Pence, you were either in on it or you were too stupid to not realize what it was Fauci and the so-called scientific world were setting you up for. Either way, that totally disqualifies you from even entertaining the idea of wanting to run for the presidency. You're a traitor or you're a buffoon. You're one or the other or maybe both, because apparently that's what we've got in the White House right now. Joe Biden has sold us out using his crack-addicted son. That's why we just keep sending money to Ukraine, paying them back for the no-show mafia job that he had there so he could funnel money to the big guy and pay $49,000 a month in rent to the big guy. You're not going to get the same type of break it down analysis here that you're going to get from some other commentators, but there were a few things I wanted to point out. Okay, the big line of the night that he got roundly booed on, he went to the old Democratic playbook. Republicans want to take your Social Security away from you.
Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. And I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is,
I'm glad they booed. I'm glad that Marjorie Taylor Greene stood up and liar, liar. Good for her. Good. He is a liar. It's absolutely untrue. This idea that Republicans do not want to throw Granny off the cliff in her wheelchair and not take care of her. Republicans have always been about, we will take care of the people who genuinely cannot take care of themselves. What we're opposed to is the endless welfare state. So I'm glad he was called out on his lie. And then, of course, the big laugh of the night. Hey, I'm not trying to punish the gas and oil companies, despite the fact they make these record profits, even during a pandemic. Yeah, Joe, because you won't let them export the oil anywhere, and you won't let them develop any oil production. You won't let them do any exploration. So they have more profits because they weren't spending their money doing exploration. They weren't spending their money on building more refineries, etc. That's why they had a bigger bottom line. Duh. But also, you know, you telling them, hey, you got to invest. We're going to need gas for at least another 10 years. I mean,
have you noticed Big Oil just reported its profits, record profits? Last year they made $200 billion in the midst of a global energy crisis. I think it's outrageous. Why? They invested too little of that profit to increase domestic production. And when I talk to a couple of them, they say, we're afraid you're going to shut down all the oil wells and all the oil refineries anyway, so why should we invest in them? I said, we're going to need oil for at least another decade. And that's going to exceed and beyond that.
Well, first of all, Mr. President, we're going to need gas and oil for a lot longer than just 10 more years. And if that's really your plan, that we only need gas and oil for another 10 years, well, if I was a CEO of an oil company, I wouldn't invest one dime. You're talking about you want them to spend hundreds of millions and billions of dollars on new refineries, new this, new that, and they only get about 10 years out of it. And by the time they cut through the bureaucratic red tape to actually begin doing these things and building these things, we're 5 years in, then it's 3 years of construction. So you want to invest billions of dollars on something they get to use for 2 years? Give me a break. Give me a break. He tried to talk tough on China. Sorry, Joe, the visual doesn't fit the narrative. We saw how weak you are with China. Then he's talking about wanting the Republicans to get on board with his plan to bring security to the border because we've got a fentanyl problem. Who opened the border? Here's the bottom line. With a straight face, he's up there talking about securing the border. He's up there talking about, though, he'll get tough about Roe versus Wade, and he wants Congress to bring him a guaranteed abortion on demand bill, and he'll sign it, and you Republicans don't even think about. He was handed a working economy that was roaring back. He wants to take a victory lap. Gas prices are down. They're still up 46% from when you took office. Inflation is still up, Joe. And whatever pay raises people are getting, it's not keeping up with inflation, so they're not experiencing the Biden Build Back Better. By the way, nobody wants to wear a Biden Build Back Better hat. Your own party wants you gone. You stood there, you lied, and America knows they go to the store, the things that they need are not there. And none of your recovery acts, none of your just spending money has fixed or will fix anything. We need someone in there, the guy that should be in there, that actually built the economy. Everything you tried to take credit for, more job, that was under Trump. The millions and millions of jobs that you haven't created anything. When the shutdowns ended, people went back to work. Those were not new jobs. This was a manufactured crisis designed to take down Donald Trump. And I'll give you guys this, it worked. But let's not be fooled. Let's not be fooled. You talk tough about police and crime, yet Hunter walks around free. Does anybody think for a moment if that was Donald Trump's kid, he'd be walking around right now? This is just it really does blow my mind in the sense that this guy is this mentally off, yet this cunningly dangerous. I mean, it just shows you how dangerous a depraved mind is. I noticed you didn't mention any of the woke bullhawk last night. Nothing. It's election time. And all of a sudden now, you know what you're going to see? I'm going to make a prediction. You're going to see a back off of the cancel culture and the woke nonsense. Apparently, they didn't get the memo at the Grammys. But you're going to see that back down. You're going to see Democrats distance themselves from that, and the people in the media will get the memo. Don't promote the woke agenda right now. We got to be quiet about that for about the next year and a half. It's election time. Because they know that is a dog, that is a loser. So we need to hammer on that. We need to hammer against CRT. But we need the guy in there that knows how to fix the economy. And sorry, that's not Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is good at fighting Mickey Mouse, but, I'm sorry. There is a president that knows how to take on the leaders of the world, knows how to secure the border, knows how to sit down with CEOs and get them to bring their businesses back from China. And this bullhawk that Biden was trying to tell us that businesses are doing business in America again. No, they're not. You know what got China back in line? The Trump tariffs. We need those back. We need to stop manufacturing our medicine and all of our technology in China. It needs to be manufactured right here, especially our medicine, for crying out loud. The Chinese government is constantly putting their people in full lockdown, locking them like prisoners in their own homes, not feeding them. You think that's about ending a virus? No. That's about turning off the world's economy. So those people can't go to work, i.e. the manufacturing of all of our stuff. You're tough on China. You have yet to confront them about the virus. I guarantee you Donald Trump will. Donald Trump will. He will hold them accountable for the pandemic. Sarah Huckabee Sanders hit it out of the park. She was fantastic. I'm even proud of McCarthy for, once in a while he looked over at his colleagues and kind of did the, okay, be careful. But for the most part, he didn't condemn them. Bitch McConnell sitting there enjoying his adulation that he was receiving from Joe Biden. It was lie on top of lie on top of lie. When all your, hey, check it out, check it out. CEOs aren't paying anything. The wealthiest 1% of our nation pays 42% of the tax bill. 42%. 1% is paying half the taxes. I would say they're paying something, Joe. I know you're a Democrat and that means facts are lost on you, but that's reality. Well, that's what I've got for this rant. Again, you're probably on State of the Union overload by this point, but I just had to get my 2 cents in today. And Joe Biden, I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what your party does to you to keep you from running again.